Few moments later, a strange look came over her face. It was like she'd seen a ghost. The ghost was Nasir Jones. Stalker Jones is what they call him. I don't hear nobody out there. Hold Oh my God. Peanut butter and crack years. This book may just be better than the Corinne Steffens. Super Yed. Only a few months after his tour, Nas's cash flow had dwindled away to nothing. I needed a job. Luckily, I ran into one of my former co-workers, Tracy Waples. Tracy's office had been right across from mine at Def Jam, and her vivacious personality and giving nature always kept things fun and light around the office. Tracy looked as pretty as ever with her long curly hair, big bright eyes, and light, even complexion. She said she was no longer at Def Jam, but now worked as Senior Vice President of A&R at Capitol Records. "Hey, you happen to be looking for work?" she asked. "I could use a really good assistant." Nas wasn't too thrilled about my new job, but knew we needed the additional income. And I argued the 2-hour commute would be too long now that I had Destiny. So I moved in with Grandma and Shasha, and Nas went back to Queensbridge. Good. Leave the nigga there. Okay? Drop his ass off where you picked him up. Is there someplace I can drop you off? Honestly, I was tired of Nas's bullshit and needed a break. I was looking forward to the separation, and now that I had a job, I could save and get my own apartment. I had always dreamed of having a family, and my overall desire was for Destiny to grow up in a household with both parents. But it didn't look like things were going to work out that way. I was too busy doing Nas. Moving in with Grandma and Shasha was a blessing in disguise. I had more help with Destiny than I needed. Nas visited us at my grandparents' frequently at first, then more sporadically. He would pop up in the wee hours of the morning and pass out on a sofa. Grandma was not having it. So on weekends, we'd pool for a hotel room just to relax and have some privacy. But I did make him promise one thing, that he'd attend Destiny's christening. He ain't do it. No mother wants to be that mother that doesn't have the father in place. I didn't quite understand why mothers were so pressed to have the fathers around, but now I do. It's because people treat you and your child differently when there's a father in the life of the child. When they see a black single mom, they see bullshit. They see someone that they can take advantage of. They see someone that they don't have to respect because they weren't smart enough to choose the right man. But they not even incorporating in the trickery. Okay? They see someone that does not understand the concept of marriage first. So they don't have respect for you. And I seen that firsthand. How when you have a father in your life, you are treated so different. I hate to say this, but it feels like the public school system doesn't take your needs seriously or your cautions seriously. Because, number one, you're a female. We live in a male-dominant world, even though I think women in America outrate the men like 24-1. It's just the point that when there is a male presence in the home, you're put on a higher standard. Your needs are met with higher regards. When you're a single mother especially a single black mother, you just like the rest of them. After the ceremony was over and everyone had left, Nas finally showed up. I was pissed. Boo, I am so sorry. I ain't trying to hear it, I hissed. Boo, just listen. My ninja G-Rap is in town. Not the Corinne Stephens Coogee rap. Not make my baby mama suck his eggplant juice until her neck hurts, to her eyes water. Coogee rap. Carmen, I'm sorry. I was so disgusted. I couldn't even listen to him anymore. It was always the same thing with Nas. I was through with his empty apologies. I have work in the morning. I'll call you tomorrow, Nas. She was embarrassed. I loved my new job, largely because it felt like a party whenever Tracy stepped into the office. When it came to business, Tracy was serious. She knew she had to hustle 5 times harder than any man in her position. Tracy and Sean Puffy Combs were the best of friends, so we were comped for most of his bad boy events. Living with Shasha and Grandma gave me full-time childcare for Destiny, freeing me up to take advantage of the after-work parties. Tracy and I would bring our wardrobes and makeup with us to work. When everyone left the office, we'd get ready, call a car service, and hit the spot. It was all a breeze. Of course, I also welcomed the distraction from my home life and the chance to have my own social life apart from Nas. One evening, Puffy invited us to the SOS Lounge to watch a pro basketball game. I invited my friend Lorraine along. She reminded me of Keisha from the group Total. Beautiful in the face, thick in the waist. You know what? I never got that. Thick in the waist. Don't that mean a big ass belly? Lorraine was loud, a little sneaky, funny as hell, out to get what she could, and a great partner for adventure. Puff rented out the entire upper floor of SOS for the affair. There was a huge oblong table in the center of the floor filled with plates of food, bottles of wine, appetizer platters, and fruit. Russell Simmons, Veronica Webb, and LL Cool J mingled among the crowd. Lorraine ran off quickly to mingle with the other guests. I ate, drank, and had a ball. Tracy came over to say hello, and we engaged in our typical girly banter. A few moments later, a strange look came over her face. It was like she'd seen a ghost. The ghost was Nasir Jones. Stalker Jones is what they call him. She just stared. I looked in the direction of her gaze and saw Nas entering the room. I'm blown. That's how she was acting. I'm blown. Can't even have no fun. I tried to leave quickly, but couldn't find Lorraine. Nas soon spotted us and walked over to our table and said hello. Then he leaned over to whisper in my ear, "What the F are you doing here?" I just smiled, avoiding a scene. I was no longer in my comfort zone, so why force it? I wasn't much of a basketball fan anyway, so I called it an early night. Been there, done that. I had a stalker. I still kind of do got a stalker, because when he stopped stalking me, his baby mammy started. Okay? I wish that bitch found something to do with her life, because I wasn't chasing your baby daddy. Your baby daddy was chasing me. I didn't even know you were there, girl. If you still watching and stalking, I didn't even know you was there. I didn't find out till shit. The daughter was like 7 years old. You had a daughter? And I was like, okay, pause. Anyway, let me tell you the situation. I was messing with this dude, right? And then just like out of the blue, I was starting to get calls from like someone that said, "Leave my family alone." I'm like, family? Who the fuck is this? I had no idea who it was, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not messing with nobody that is married or have a family or with somebody. As far as I'm concerned, this dude got a whole family. But he's spending his days stalking me. It ain't my fault. So anyway, child, I would go out. It was so bad that people that surrounded me and people that surrounded him knew that he was stalking me. One time I went out with one of my Judies, and somebody that worked with him had said, "Nay, that dude here." I was like, "Fuck." And I had to leave an event that I paid for. I had to go to my Judy and said, "Look, Judy, look, I love you. You got other people here, but I gotta go. It's not safe for me to be here. I don't know what this man will do, so let me go head home." I made a beeline for the door, and the nigga called me. I was like, what's up? He was like, "Yeah, I've been thinking about you. I just want to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I didn't do." It was just, I had to leave the ninja alone anyway because he was a liar about shit he ain't no reason to lie for. Them the worst kind of niggas. Niggas that lie, or females that lie for no reason. I didn't ask you for this lie. You volunteered this lie. Now, if I asked you something and you decided to lie to me, that's one thing. But if I'm just minding my business, skipping down the street, and then you walk up to me and you provide me with a lie, that's crazy to me. Why are you giving me a lie? I didn't pay for this lie. You giving it to me for free. I know what it's like to deal with someone who has a volatile personality. Okay. And I tried to stay as far away from the ninja as possible. The worst part about it, though, was that he was lying to his baby mother the whole time. She thought it was me that was chasing him. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't want your fucking crazy ass baby father. You can keep that. When spring arrived, Destiny and I moved out of Grandma's and into our own place. I found a nice, quaint townhouse apartment in Fresh Meadows, Queens. Work was work, not that we had much of it. At first, Nas had no idea that I had my own place. Finally, Shasha broke down and gave him the number. 1 hour after a brief phone conversation, Nas showed up at my door. He roamed through the apartment, nodding and shaking his head as if his approval mattered. Then he pulled a small gold gift box from his jacket pocket. "I got this for you." It was a gold heart pendant encrusted with diamonds. It was beautiful. Nas left, then came back with all of his things. Old habits are sure hard to break, and I let him stay. A few weeks after Nas's return, he was back to just hanging out and doing absolutely nothing. The Illmatic money was long gone, and he refused to tour again. This caused a major cash flow problem. I was paying all the bills, my own car note, and insurance. He just didn't have it. On the weekends, I would get up right after Nas came in, and Destiny and I would be out. I'd drop her at Grandma's and stayed out all night. Anything to get a reaction. This only added to the beef, which was getting worse with time. Everything I had ever loved about Nas was gone. We barely even spoke some days. Nas was caught up in the hype, and worse, I was caught up in Nas. I had put my dreams on the back burner voluntarily and was now resentful. I'm glad to see I wasn't the only one. In my mind, Nas was the distraction. And since it was my apartment, I changed the locks and packed his shit. Nas had to go. So back to the projects his ass went. With Nas gone, I could finally unload. That morning, I blasted the music as I cleaned the entire house. I rid the apartment of all Nas remnants and memorabilia. Mrs. Jones called a few days later. I just knew it was an attempt to reunite Nas and me. Then I sensed uneasiness in her tone. In a nutshell, she was ready to get out the projects. She had worked at the post office for many years and spent just about every dime on Nas and Jabari. When they were younger, she afforded them the newest and hottest sneakers and gear. They both hustled, but it's not like they had to. Mrs. Jones supported every materialistic habit they had, and now she was ready to do her. She explained it would be temporary. When I told Shasha that Mrs. Jones would be staying with us, she wasn't too thrilled. Yeah. Because that's some bullshit. The fuck are you moving in with your son's baby mother? That is bullshit. That is weird bullshit. When I told Shasha that Mrs. Jones would be staying with us, she wasn't too thrilled. She couldn't understand why Nas hadn't purchased a house or condo, something for her. A few days later, I received a call from Nas at work. He didn't sound like himself. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Carm, I'm in jail."